Just want to give you an update on two of the projects that we have going on now that have been approved and have been underway. First off is the paving project for Hawkins Elementary and Churchill Elementary School. And if I can find, Summers and Taylor was our successful bidder on this project, and they actually had scheduled just to work on Churchill Elementary over spring break. We ended up being lucky enough that we had wonderful weather, and they were able to bring in two different crews. One of the crews did all the milling, took out all the bad asphalt, and then they had another paving crew. They actually went so far as to mill out the cold joints where the old paving was, which was not part of the project, but they did it anyway. So they milled out all the bad parts at the entrance and in front of the entranceway to the school. And then this is just some pictures of the new pavement. By Saturday, they were able to have both schools completed and striped with basically little to no disruption of the schools whatsoever. So, and this is Hawkins Elementary, of course. Just a few pics. Then our second project we have going on right now is the foundation stabilization at Volunteer High School and Pathways Alternative School. Volunteer, of course, is the press box out by the football stadium, which we have some erosion underneath the bleachers, which has been a problem for quite some time, but it's actually started to destabilize the foundation on the press box. So the successful bidder there was Skilled Services, and we actually had no original drawings or as-built drawings on these facilities. They were built in 1979, so you're talking about a 40-year-old building. For some reason, we don't have all the drawings that we used to have. So most of the drawings and specifications were done on just typical standard construction practices. When we removed the floor for the press box, we found out that the foundation was actually quite a bit lower than what a standard building would be. The foundation was actually 6 feet from the top of the slab down to the foundation, which required them to remove approximately 86 tons of rock by hand. There's pictures of them shovel at a time, out of conveyor, and then of course out the side door. So once all the rock was removed, they started pushing in. These are called push piers. Basically what it is it's a 3-inch pipe that you push down in the ground until you reach a certain amount of bearing, which is between 4,000 and 5,000 psi. And you'll see the blue brackets that are actually attached to the footer of the existing building. Once those get pushed into place, they'll actually come in with a hydraulic ram on every one of the piers at the same time and actually lift the building. So when we looked at this project, you kind of have to make an assumption of how long the piers will be based on existing topography and surrounding conditions. Well, if you go to Volunteer, you'll notice there's quite a bit of limestone rock showing at the surface. It looks to be that the press box is set on a cut slope, so you would think the foundation would be, the bedrock would be relatively shallow. However, when they, looked at the piers, they estimated them as 30 feet, which would have put it 6 feet below the playing surface, which is 6 feet below the actual football field. When we pushed the first 3 piers, they actually went 50 feet before we got enough bearing that was required for the project. There's 42 piers around the building, and that's in the restroom area, the old restrooms. And then this is Pathways Alternative School, and Pathways was a little different because we were able to do them from outside. They're still push piers, and still basically exact same project. But this is actually the stair-step gap that was in there. There was actually about a 3/8 gap in that wall before they lifted it up. So we ended up getting just over a 1/2 inch of lift on the concession stand or press box, and we got about 3/8 here, which actually closed up the gap completely here. Now, we didn't get quite enough lift to volunteer to close up all the gaps, but we did stabilize foundation. Okay. Yeah. After we pushed the first piers, and we noticed that there was gonna be some extra work there, I actually asked the contractor to stop work until we could get a change order in place for the project, and asked him to give me an estimate on what he thought the cost would be. And so we estimated all the piers to be the exact same length, between 50 and 55 feet. The overage cost on that, his estimate, with removing the extra stone, here it is, $55,460.35 was what he had estimated the overage would be. As I said, we asked him to, if he continued pushing piers, that it would be at the risk until we actually got a change order executed. They chose to go ahead and complete those piers. The good news is, most of those piers didn't end up that long. So the actual change order that they submitted now is $35,970.45. So from the original estimate, it decreased right at